right, pulling up the Dallas Half Acre Farm. It is super cold here in Texas. I don't know what temperature it is now, like low 40s, maybe in the 30s right now. And when I flew in yesterday, it was like 75 and hot and humid. So in that one day, it shifted that quickly to now where it's freezing weather. That's something really unique about the Texas growing environment. The weather just shifts like crazy. It's very windy. They get a really strong north wind all the time. So I'm gonna ask him about that and how he's dealing with that. And it looks like the caterpillar tunnels are a big part of that. And in case you're wondering why I'm even in Texas, I'm here for the Bootstrap Farmer Mastermind Conference. Bootstrap Farmer is a wonderful farm supplier, and they have their own podcast, and they're really involved with getting small farmers connected and working synergistically with each other. You know, share all the different things that we've been learning on our own farms to help improve all the things that we have going on together. All right, hey everybody, I'm here with Mike Bell of Dallas Half Acre Farms, and he's gonna be showing us around today and on all the cool different things that he's doing. So I'm really excited to show you guys. So Mike, how long have you been farming, and when did you get this plot?
I've been gardening since I was 5 with my grandma.
Oh,
like
cool.
Just little garden stuff. I always tell people I was probably the only guy in college that had a tomato plant that he had to water hung over. So I've always enjoyed gardening, but as far as the farm goes, I bought it 3 years ago in April.
Wow,
I bought,
3 years.
Yeah,
okay,
I
nice.
bought the land 3 years ago in April.
Nice.
And it was, he'll show you in a few minutes, but it looked like it was nothing. It was not open land at all.
Wow.
It was 6-foot Johnson grass, trees, bushes,
Weeds and stuff. Yeah.
complete nonsense.
Wow.
It hadn't been touched in 15 years.
Wow.
So, in fact, people used to drive in here and dump their, people redo bathrooms and stuff like that. So they would just bring their trash and dump toilets and wood and carpet because it's kind of hidden back down the dirt road. Nobody knew. So
you're kind of restoring this whole area. That's awesome.
Yeah. I mean, that's one way to look at it. But so I watched Curtis Stone for about 6 months, and I always knew I loved to garden. I kept thinking, how can I make money doing something I love? Because I heard of Gary Vaynerchuk too.
Yes.
And he had the Smurf It Up video that said, "Do what you love." You can, in this day and age with technology and the iPhone and everything, you can make $80,000 doing whatever you want to do if you love it and you're good at it.
Yeah.
Well, I know I can grow crap. I know I can grow food. I've done it for my whole life. So I stumbled onto Curtis and saw what he did on a very small piece of land and said, let's do this, and call a realtor. And it's kind of funny because my grandma left me $7,500 in inheritance.
Wow.
And I've had it since I was 16.
Yeah.
So I've had it over 20 years. And this piece of land came available. Realtor called me and said, I got this piece of property. It's a half acre, 6 miles from downtown Dallas. And I automatically said, I can't afford it.
Yeah.
There's no way I can afford something 6 miles from downtown Dallas. She goes, well, no, it's not. It's zoned non-residential. So it made it really cheap. I mean, it's not worth anything to anybody else.
Right.
And she said, $7,500. I started laughing.
Wow.
I literally laughed on the phone.
That's incredible.
And I said, tell him I'll take it. And she goes, do you want to make an offer? I said, no. I'm not even going to jack with the price.
It's meant to be.
It really is. It was meant to be. I was telling you a minute ago, my school's 5 minutes that way.
Yeah.
So I come before school, I come after school, I come on my lunch break. Kids go on a field trip and I don't have a class. I come over here, I get to work for an hour because it's only 5 minutes away.
Yeah, so Mike is also a school teacher, and that's his other job as well. So it's pretty cool. And I used to be a teacher as well, so we have that in common. So that's pretty neat. So we're going to talk to Mike more at the end of the video and ask him a lot more details, kind of more of his story and all that. So let's go check out his farm and see all the different things that he's doing and growing.
So this is tunnel 2. Right now I have 3 tunnels. One is 40 foot. This one's actually 60 foot. I bought a 100-foot roll of plastic because I knew eventually this tunnel will be 100 foot. But the back 40 foot isn't, the ground's not ready yet. So I went ahead and bought a 100-foot roll and just made this one 60 foot instead of 50. But this is number 2, and it's probably the best looking tunnel I have right now out of the 3.
Yeah, it looks fantastic. The salanova's looking real healthy.
It's doing really well. There's a little bit of Cherokee in here.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you, what are these red varieties?
That's actually Lola Rosa.
Oh, I've grown that one. I like that one a lot.
That's Lola Rosa.
Uh-huh.
And then you can kind of tell the difference. This is Cherokee.
Is that
right
a
here.
romaine, or is it a red leaf?
It's a red leaf.
Yeah, okay.
So actually, this is actually a good spot. So that's Cherokee, that's Lola Rosa, and that's red salanova.
Aha.
So you can kind of see all three of the difference.
Yeah, those are great.
And the main reason why I did that was to see salanova is expensive.
The seed.
Like it's $40 for 1,000 seeds.
Wow.
It's pelleted, and it's worth the money. But my bread and butter is the green salanova, because you don't have to have you don't want as much red as you have green in your salad mix.
Yeah, I agree.
So I thought, well, if I could cut my cost down on red salanova with Cherokee or Lola Rosa, that's just easy money to save.
Mm-hmm.
So I just wanted to test the yields out and see how big of a difference. Salanova definitely produces more yield per plant, but I don't think price-wise that it does.
Interesting.
So moving forward, I probably won't plant a whole lot of red salanova. I'll probably do Lola Rosa, and in the summer, specifically the Cherokee, for the heat, hands down.
So Cherokee's a good one for heat. Thank you. That's a good tip for me too, because some of the red varieties I've tried, they get real bitter.
Yeah.
In the summer.
Cherokee won't.
Cherokee,
and Ray Tyler, this is what Ray Tyler grows in Tennessee. He's the one that I got
Ray's the man, like as far as growing and heat and humidity, and
he's got it down.
Yeah.
In fact, his right-hand man, first worker, whatever you want to call him, his last name's Hobbs. He's the one that messaged me and said, try Cherokee, because I told him, I'm in Dallas and my red sucks. Okay. What can I do? And he said, try Cherokee.
Nice.
Tried it, and it's great. And it's also pretty cold tolerant. I mean, we've had down to 20 to 25 degrees, and it doesn't wilt or frost burn or anything.
There's no damage, nothing. So how are you harvesting this? Are you harvesting the heads? Do you cut and come again?
Cut and come again.
Okay.
That's the thing, because especially at $40 for 1,000 seeds, you got to get more than one cutting off of it.
Right.
So basically, I don't recommend. I tried this as an experiment to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 wide, and I can do it. It's not very comfortable. I'll be a little sore.
Yeah.
If I have to do the whole bed.
Yeah, definitely.
But basically, you grab the head like that, just wrap your hand around it, and you can kind of see this is the second cut. I've already cut it here.
Oh yeah, look at that.
This is the second cutting. So you just grab it, you cut it, and you put it in your bucket.
Right.
And you just move. And the way I've planted it is I try to do a red in every row. That way it's 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's already mixed.
It's already mixed. Yeah, that is smart, man. I really like that technique.
So, so this is Sweet Crisp. This is called incised. This is Salanova incised. I don't like it to grow. It's not as yield. You don't yield as much off of the incised as you do the Sweet Crisp.
Okay.
But it's nice to have in there to mix things up.
Is this something that can be harvested with a greens cut harvester, or no? It's not possible. Yeah.
No.
Okay.
Curtis tried it. Ray tried it. I'm pretty sure Eric tried it out at Steadfast, and everybody's like,
so no way.
It's just too thick.
Yeah.
Because these are still pretty small heads.
So you're making baby mixes out of this.
Spring
mix, or what do you want to call it?
I don't know what the definition of anything is. I call it salad mix. It's spring mix or baby greens or whatever the customer said once. I'm like, yep. That's because everyone's got a different definition.
Totally.
I wanted to show y'all one more thing real quick. This is called Muir.
Oh, Muir, yes.
M-U-I-R. And it is a beast.
What do you like about it?
It's got a different texture to it, a different look to it from like the Sweet Crisp. It's also cut and come again. So literally you grab it, you cut it, and I'll show you down there the second cutting of it down there. But from now on, in my fourth tunnel that I'm doing, I'm gonna do green Sweet Crisp, red Sweet Crisp, green Muir. I'll do a Muir, and then another green Sweet Crisp. So those four, there'll be 2 green Sweet Crisp, a red, and a Muir in a row. And then that way it's just bam, 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 bam. It's already mixed.
That's really smart. Yeah, I like to grow like my kales or my rainbow chards sporadically like that. So when I'm harvesting, I just get a bundle of rainbow all together at one time.
You don't have to mix it up.
You don't have to mix it later, yeah.
So here, let me show you the Muir second cutting.
Okay.
And you can tell it's second cutting because it's a lot taller. So see how much taller that is?
Yeah.
If you look under, that was the first cutting.
So it kind of grows out of the center.
Yep, it grows out of the center. So this one's about ready. And you don't get as much yield off the second and third cutting as you do the first. But you still get enough to make it worth your while.
And the texture and the flavor's still there and all that.
Yep, and it's really good in the heat. Like during the summer, I'll grow a lot more Muir.
So Muir and Cherokee are really good.
And green sweet crisp.
And the green sweet crisp.
Yep.
Cool.
All three of those, that's what Ray grows. And if he grows it, I'll grow it.
Yeah.
I'm not reinventing the wheel or anything.
Yeah. Wow. Very cool.
So that's all the way. You can see I've cut the Muir, and the Muir grows faster.
Oh.
And I didn't realize it, but it's a good.
Yeah, it is much taller than all the rest. Look at that.
Well, I've already cut the Muir. Like I haven't cut this.
Oh, I see.
Like that's ready to be cut. But I haven't cut this one. I've already cut this one and started growing back.
Nice.
So the Muir is a good 10 days.
That's amazing. It's way
day
faster.
to maturity faster than
it's way faster
than salanova.
Neat.
And then that way I've got some red Russian kale. You may find this interesting too. Is see the size difference between that bed?
Yeah.
And this bed? Just how much bigger the leaves are and better.
Right.
That was direct seeded.
Okay.
3 weeks before this was started in trays. I had no idea it was going to be that good. I just knew that was growing so slow.
Yeah.
It didn't look good. So I was like, let's just see. And yeah, timing sucks. Like it sucks to transplant red Russian kale.
Yes.
But you can see the difference.
Wow.
And I've got a couple of places that want strictly red Russian kale. And it's bringing a lot better money than I thought it would. So
and you're doing all this also as a baby cut.
Yep. Like
nice.
Some of this is actually too big. I'm going to cut it tomorrow for my restaurant that I sell to, and all of this will be gone for sure, and maybe some of that, and then I'll pick the bigger leaves out of the direct seeded bed. From now on, during the fall and the winter, I'll spend the extra time to do the transplants of red Russian kale.
Interesting. So yeah, in the winter time, it's just way too slow.
It takes forever.
It's too cold here.
And now that now that bootstrap farmers come out with those LED lights, those things are insane. How good they are.
Yeah.
I mean, that's probably.
So these were under lights
for 12 days.
For 12 days in a kind of sheltered area.
Yep, in my garage.
And just in a garage. Nice.
Yep, on the shelf. I've got pictures on my IG. I've been really posting because I think people that want to grow starts, they got to use those lights.
Yeah.
They're hands down the best things I've ever seen.
Very cool.
So
and your Instagram is Dallas Half Acre Farms, right?
Yep.
So I'll put a link to that for you guys.
Yep, and it's got my logo at the top. So, but this is tunnel 2. I don't know if you saw it a few weeks ago, but this whole thing fell.
Oh yes, I did. Yeah,
both tunnel 2 and 3 fell in a massive 40-mile-an-hour windstorm that lasted about 8 hours.
Wow. And
what happened was one of these pipe leaned over, didn't even really fall. It leaned, and when that leans, the rope gets loose.
On the outside here.
And when the rope gets loose, the plastic inches its way over.
It's like a big sail at that point.
It just and fell.
Oh man.
So that's why
that's horrible.
I come back, I put everything back together, and I added these.
Some hit boards on there.
And they're not pretty, but they were cheap and they work great.
Cool.
So
that's what it's all about is just putting something together quick, and that's the farming ingenuity right there.
Yep. Well, I wish I could take credit for it. I called my dad. I said, Dad, what do I do? And he said, go get some. These are wood panels. They're $1.40 from Lowe's.
Nice.
They're the fence panels.
Yeah, those are cheap. That's what I used in my greenhouse I just built. I used old fence board.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah. And my dad helped me too, man. It's all about getting advice from people.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
So I'll add this to tunnel 4 and 5. I'm just going to just make it mandatory. Every tunnel I put up, I'm going to spend. It costs $50 for the wood, the carriage bolts, and everything. 50, and it's the best $50 I ever spent.
Yeah.
Because it probably would have fell again today.
And then it's going to wreck maybe $50 worth of crop or something.
Yep. Or take a chance on ripping plastic, and the plastic's $450.
Exactly.
Or $400.
Yeah. So taking that precaution up front is real important.
Yeah, and I put in these poles, which you can see over there.
Oh yeah.
Just for an extra
bracing.
Yeah, just for extra, because I think I'm kind of in a wind tunnel, like where my land is.
Yeah, it's windy right here.
Man, it can catch some wind that'll knock down your tunnels.
Yeah, that's what I learned about Texas on this trip. It is a windy place, man.
Yep.
Oh,
and it'll come out of nowhere.
Yeah.
I mean, it'll be 0, 2, 3 miles an hour, and an hour later it's gusting 20 to 25 to 30. So we get storms from the Gulf of Mexico. The warm air comes from the Gulf, and then the cold air comes from the north. And when they collide, they always collide around Dallas.
Is that what? Oh, I see. And is that what causes tornadoes too?
Yeah, all thunderstorms are caused by is warm air and cold air colliding.
Wow.
And then when they collide, they make the upward motion, and then the tornadoes come, and so that's why they call it Tornado Alley here.
Right. Okay. Wow. It's really cool. It's really fun to learn about another grower's environment and how you're dealing with all the different, your special set of problems.
Everybody has them. I have a friend up in Oklahoma, and she's maybe 200 miles from here. Completely different set, because she gets a lot more snow and ice than we do.
Yeah.
We haven't had snow in, I think, 4 years here.
Okay. Wow.
She had 8 inches, 3 weeks ago.
Wow.
So yeah, it gets interesting.
So that's how your winter production goes. So now, what are you planning for the spring and summer? What crops are you growing, and what's the next step?
Honestly, I'm not going to add. When I first bought the farm, my goal was to create a CSA, because I wanted to sell baskets to people for $20, $25 a basket and deliver them. And I still love that idea. If I was doing it full time, that's something I'd definitely pursue, just because I love growing different stuff. But being part-time, I can't focus on 20 different crops. I just can't do it. So I've primarily decided I'm going to do salad mix, because you plant it, you water it, and you come back in 6 weeks and you harvest it. Yeah. And there's not a whole lot of disease. There's not a whole lot of stuff you have to worry about.
Good point.
But also, I'll go nuts if I just do salad mix year round. So I'm going to do tomatoes for sure.
Cool.
And what I like about the tomatoes is, again, I'm going to use Curtis style, trellising them in the middle of my tunnel. So right now it just has a strap. It just has the strap on it.
Right.
But I'll take that off when I take the plastic off, probably middle of April, 1st of May. And I'm going to buy the ridge pole that goes down the front. It goes down right down the middle of it.
Yep.
And then I'll run tomatoes down the middle of the tunnel. And I'll trellis them. Perfect. Which people watch your channel, they've probably seen people trellis. You know, Connor does it at Never Sink, and Curtis and JM, they all trellis them. If you actually look down the middle, the walkway, that's exactly where I'm going to put the tomatoes.
Nice.
And all I'm going to do is lose each row of lettuce on each side. So I'm not hardly losing any production compared, let's see, there's 20 rows in here, I think, 19 rows. So I'm losing 10% of my salad production, but I'm going to get how much?
A bunch of tomatoes. And
out of tomatoes.
You might even be able to fit in, like, next to kind of interplant next to the tomatoes if you wanted to.
Yep. So I had, if you see my Instagram page or whatever, I've got the tomatoes already growing.
Cool.
I've got.
Oh yeah, I saw your starts. They look really healthy. They're really nice.
I'm telling you, it's Bootstraps lights.
Yeah. Wow. Okay.
But
they're LEDs or
LEDs,
what are they?
4-foot LED lights.
Nice.
And they're strong. They don't get hot. They don't pull much electricity. Well, I'm running 6 of them off for one plug-in. Wow. So I tell you, it doesn't pull very much juice, or flip the breaker. Yeah,
it seems like LED is just the way to go at this point. If you're going to be buying lights, there's no reason to get the T8s or the fluorescents anymore.
And they're $110, I think, on the site, but they last 50,000 hours. I think I may be wrong on that, but it's something ridiculously.
They're not burning out anytime.
No. So so I've got all the tomatoes. I've got over 200 started now.
Wow.
Different varieties.
Neat. Very neat.
Mostly cherries.
Cool.
And I'm going to just run each of them down every tunnel that I have down the middle. I don't know if I'm going to do peppers. I probably won't do any peppers. They just don't bring the money.
I found that as well.
They're just not cost effective.
Yeah.
For lack of a better way to put it.
As far as the high production beds, I found that it's kind of a waste of space in some ways. I might try some in grow bags this year.
I think that's a great idea.
Just because I've got some extra area where my landlords don't want me to put beds, but they'll let me put grow bags. Right. So I don't know. I'm going to try that out this year and see if that's worth it or not. I don't know if it's going to be. But
I used to use grow bags and loved it. Like they did a great job.
Okay, cool. Good to know.
I'll do roots. I'll do beets, radishes, and carrots.
Nice.
Because they're easy to sell. They don't take up much space. They're good for your soil. That's going to be my biggest concern, is growing the same thing in the same spot.
Yes.
Even though lettuce isn't a high feeder, I still want to be able to mix it up. So some things I'm going to grow just because A, it's easy to sell, and B, I want to mix in stuff for my beds, for my soil health.
Yeah,
that's the biggest thing.
All right, cool. That sounds like a great plan for the summer, man. I'm excited to see all the updates on Instagram and follow along. It's going to be neat.
Yeah, I'm excited. It's going to be a ton of work to get them going. Because I'll have to rip up these beds, the plastic, You know, and there's a lot of stuff that I don't even think I have to do, that I have to know that I have to do yet, that I'm going to have to do. Yeah. So I'm going to start doing it and be like, oh, I got to do this first, so I can't do this until I do that or that, and then one step turns into four. That's the way I've figured stuff out works around my farm.
Yeah. And we're going to go check out the irrigation next. That's what we're going to go look at. He's got a very unique irrigation situation and story, and I think it's just it's really inspiring, honestly, as well. Okay, so Mike's got a pretty unique water situation here. So, you know, I see you got a giant IBC toad on top of some a big box here. So it looks like maybe some gravity's involved.
Yep.
Tell us what's going on.
So when I bought this property, I didn't have water. This is zone non-residential, so I can't get water without going through a ton of red tape, and it's going to cost me several $1,000s. And I was so excited to do this farm thing. I said I'll figure it out. Like, I just bought the land and said I'll figure it out. I'll figure everything else out.
I love it.
So I hauled water because this little bitty section right here is what I started with my first summer. Where this
is the first plot. Okay.
I mean, I think it's 1,500 square feet. This is what I started with.
Yeah. Nice.
So I was hauling water. It sucked.
Yeah.
Well, one day I was over here working, and I looked over, and there's a church right there, a little bitty church.
Right.
And there was an older gentleman, probably 65, 70, out there working on the roof. And I could tell he was struggling a little bit, so I was like, I'm going to make some good neighbors here. So I went over there, offered to help, ended up helping like 2 hours. A real nice guy, got to talking, and I said goodbye. Let me know if I can ever help you, blah, blah. And out of the corner of my eye, I saw a spigot coming out of that wall, the wall that faces my farm.
Okay.
And it just clicked. I didn't even think about it. I said, hey, if I paid your water bill every month, could I use water out of your water faucet right there? And he kind of, well, yeah, I don't mind. I don't have anything to lose out of it. And being I just met him, I wanted to make sure he knew I wasn't trying to, screw him or anything. So I said, I got a $100 bill I keep in my wallet for emergencies. I'll give you that $100 right now for earnest money, just so you know I'm not trying to, screw you around or anything. He goes, well, I ain't got nothing to lose out of that deal. I said, cool. How much is your water bill every month? He said, $34. And I thought, well, crap. They flush the toilets on Wednesday and Sunday.
Yeah,
there's no sink, there's no kitchen. So turned out they don't even use close to their minimum amount of water every month. So I pay their water bill every month, and I,
that's really
use the water.
Yeah.
So my next thing was, okay, I can water this, no big deal, this little area with the water hose. That's fine. But I knew I was expanding my farm eventually. So I thought, well, what can I do? So I found these on Craigslist. I actually got 3 of them. I have 5 total. I got 3 of them for free. So I fill them up, and then I have a faucet that I put here on the front. Just a little do-it-yourself faucet. You get stuff at Lowe's.
Perfect.
And then a long water hose, and I hook it to PVC pipe, which I have stacked over there because I don't need it right now.
Right.
And I drilled 1/16 holes every foot in that PVC pipe. And turned it on, and I said, if it doesn't work, it costs me $20 in PVC, and I'll probably learn something.
Yeah.
And it worked.
Wow. That's so neat.
I literally just come over here, turn this on, turn the knob on, walk away, come back, and I'll have some dry spots that I'll go hand water just to make sure, but it works pretty well.
And that's in the Texas heat he's doing this.
Yep.
That's pretty
During
cool.
the summer.
That is really cool.
It's not foolproof, but considering my circumstances, it's all I got.
Right.
I'll make it work. I did lose some crops that didn't get watered. I lost a couple tomato plants that I finally figured out, crap, they're not getting enough water. They were already dead, but it's all right. I made up for it with the ones that did live. So I don't know what I'm going to do moving forward with like all my lettuce, because that's got to be a lot more. The roots on lettuce just don't go deep. They spread out.
Sure.
And so I've got to water more often and be a little bit more efficient. So I haven't quite decided what I'm going to do yet moving forward.
You think he'll let you run like a PVC line, like pressurize it, like from all the way from over there?
Probably not.
Yeah.
Probably not. Probably what I'm going to have to do is I'll just run the water hose through the fence, and then I'll have a splitter.
Yeah.
And I'll run a water hose to each one of my tunnels, and then just turn it on, turn it on, and then turn one on, turn it off, turn the next one on, turn it off. And I might get lucky enough and have enough pressure to do 2 tunnels at one time. I'm kind of hoping I do.
Yeah, that'd be sweet.
That way it's half the time, but same amount of water.
Yeah.
So that's the story there.
As urban farmers, I've really realized it's all about working with our neighbors and seeing how we can compromise and do things together. So I just love that story of how Mike helped out his neighbor in a really tough situation, and now they're working together to he's allowing him to water his crops. It all worked out.
I'm saving him money. I mean, I pay his water bill every month.
I love the collaboration between two different property owners and what can happen when you just work together.
Yep. No, it turned out great. I made a friend out of it. I got a couple of customers out of it too. A couple of his people will literally come over afterwards, after church on Sunday if I'm working. Like, you got anything to sell?
There you go.
I can get you some salad mix and some onions. And they'll give me $10, and I'm happy.
So, Mike, how are you selling your produce mostly right now?
I started off selling to teachers at my school. I'm in a huge school district, one of the biggest in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, and I've been there 10 years. So teachers move around a lot from school to school. They'll go for transfer, a new job will come open, they want to teach that. So I know a ton of people in my school district at different schools. So when I first started, I called the people that I knew that were at other schools. Hey, this is what I got, this is what I'm doing. If you want it, let me know, I'll bring it to you. So I did, and of course, like I figured, they told their friends. Or I walk in with 4 bags of salad mix or whatever, and what is that? People just started asking questions, and it just grew. So at the beginning of the spring last year, I had about 85 people on a list that literally I sent out a mass text, 10 people at a time. This is what I have. The first 24 people that respond get it.
Nice.
So that's the way I did it.
Okay.
And then I was listening to Gary Vaynerchuk.
Yes.
And he started talking about Instagram and how it's the greatest in Facebook, but I prefer Instagram.
I do as well.
Yeah, it's the greatest marketing tool since Google AdWords for 5 cents a click.
Yeah.
So I just kept listening, kept playing, kind of playing around with it. And one night I was laying in my bed and I typed in, I saw the hashtag Dallas Vegan, and this light bulb just come on in my head. And I said, they eat a lot of vegetables.
Yes.
And if you're a vegan, you care about your food. And nothing's more important than organic, locally grown produce. So I clicked on it. 44,000 people used the hashtag Dallas Vegan.
That's quite a few in Dallas.
Oh God, it's unbelievable. So I just started clicking, and then I started. I'd like a couple of their posts, and then they would follow me. So I would click message, and I would message them and say, "Hey, thanks for the follow. I really appreciate it." I didn't sell them. Didn't try to sell. Just said thank you. They 90% immediately would respond back, "Hey, I love what you're doing.
Wow.
How do I buy your stuff?"
Wow.
So I'd tell them, I can deliver. If you're this far away, find 4 or 5 people that'll buy with you, and I'll bring it to you all on one day. And sure enough, I had a girl that got 17 people. This is back when I was doing baskets at her work that bought a basket from me.
That's
so for
amazing.
Like 10 weeks. I would send 15, 16, 17 baskets at a time at $20 a basket.
That is so cool.
To one building, one stop, one time a week. I'd make $350.
That's what we want, Yeah, those customers that just are so passionate about you and spread the word about your farm. Those are the customers that we really want to find, and they're awesome.
And when
we
you
couldn't
get
do it
them
without them.
And when you get them, you take care of them. I never charged her for a basket.
That's awesome.
She got every one of them free, and I'd give her I found out she loved carrots.
Yeah.
She ate more carrots than anyone alive, probably. I just give them to her because you gave me $350 a week.
That's so cool.
So you get your stuff for free, and that's the way I still take care of the people that started with me or that tell people. So
that's what it's all about.
The Dallas Vegan hashtag on Instagram was big, and then it just kind of moved into who's in my area, like who's close, and I started using zip codes, and I started using restaurants, and now I'm selling to a couple very small smoothie places, but it's steady income. I know they buy the same amount every week. I can plan for it.
Right.
That's important. When tomatoes come, they want tomatoes. When beets come, they want beets. So it's like, instead of finding new customers, I just give them what they want, and I don't have to go find anybody new. So it's very easy. I'll ask them, what do you want in the spring?
Yeah.
Of course they want tomatoes. Yep. Of course they want this and that. So I'll grow it for them because I can grow it.
I love that you're using all the modern technology to do this, because it makes it so much quicker for us. As farmers, most of our time we need to spend with our crops. We need to spend working out here.
Yep.
We don't have time to chase down sales and do all this different stuff. So to really take to heart what Mike's doing and think about, man, how can I use these different social platforms and all these free ways of getting the info out. And I think for farmers, having an Instagram is a really big deal. We can really show what we're doing. We have pictures and videos, and they can instantly understand what we're doing.
It's 100% true. And even more than pictures, people just tell me they buy from me because they love my story.
Wow, interesting.
They're like, you're passionate about it.
Yes.
And that's one thing I am. I am very passionate about my farm and my food, and it comes across in my Instagram posts. And,
absolutely.
And people will flat out tell you, I trust you.
Yes.
Because my kids, I've got 11, a 6, and a 3. And my 11 and 6-year-old come out here, and they'll literally eat off the vine, and I don't care.
Yes.
And I've had several people tell me, if you'll let your kids eat off the vine and not even wash it, then why won't I eat it? I know it's as healthy as it gets if you let your own kids eat it. Yeah. So it turns into like a trust thing.
Yeah.
The more people trust you, the more they're going to buy from you, and they're going to be customers for life.
And that's something super special, I think, about small farming, that we offer that intimacy and that trust that no other farmer, no grocery store can ever offer them.
Nope.
And I think that's something really fantastic about what we're doing.
It's kind of funny that you said that, because I had a lady I sold, and there's a couple of really nice neighborhoods here, and I won't name names or anything, but there's a neighborhood downtown, and I can't remember how I found her, but she's 7-digit income a year type lady. She buys from me. One day I took it to her house, dropped it off, and she introduced me to her friend that was there. She goes, "This is my personal farmer."
Wow.
Like, she used those words.
Wow.
And I'm also a personal trainer, so I'm used to people saying, "This is my personal trainer, you should use him, he's good," or blah, blah, blah. She used the words, "This is my personal farmer."
Interesting.
And it just really resonated in my brain. I'm like, this is also a status symbol for some people. Like, everyone wants to set themselves apart from everybody else, kind of like one up the Joneses.
Right.
And literally that's what she did. She was so proud to say, "This is my personal farmer. He grows my food, and I don't have to go to the grocery store."
Yeah.
It's a win-win situation for me.
But how cool is it to, in this day and age, a lot of farmers are kind of looked down upon. You're like, "Oh, you're blue collar," and "Oh, you're not educated," or a lot of people have a lot of misconceptions about farmers. So it's really cool to see kind of the honor and the right prestige that really should be on people that grow our food, because in my opinion there's no other higher thing that you could be doing for somebody. You're growing what sustains them, what is building the cells of their body.
Right. No, you're 100% correct. And I took a lot of honor in it when she said it, because it really blew me away. I'd never heard of the phrase personal farmer, but that's what you want to call me? That's great. I'll get a t-shirt that says,
I love that. Yeah, that's a great catchphrase. A personal farmer.
And the girl ended up calling me a month later, her friend ended up calling me about, "Hey, can I get the same thing she gets? That I met you at her house. Can I get the same thing?" And I sold to her for a few weeks, and then it got to be 110 in Texas, and I lost everything. Yeah. So I had to call it back.
So when is your off season in Texas? You could go year round?
I
maybe?
do.
Yeah.
It's funny because most people's off season is the winter.
Yes.
Mine is probably going to be end of July and the first couple of weeks of August, because it just gets so hot.
Right. It's like San Diego, man. It's kind of very similar. I think about it the same way. The end of summer is our quote winter.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, it just last year was ridiculous. It hit 108 here the middle of July, and it was 108 for 8 straight days. And there's just no amount of water that I found that could save anything. I had some stuff live, but it didn't produce for a month.
Wow.
I had some tomatoes that lived, but it literally took them a month to 5 weeks before they started blooming again.
Jeez.
And then we got an early frost and killed everything.
Damn.
So I'm going to say, I told my wife, I said, because she asked me, when can we go on vacation? And I said, probably the last week of July, the first week of August, before school starts, because it's going to be so hot that I'm just going to mail it in. Probably.
Yeah, plan for it every season.
That's
kind of
probably
thing.
Now, if it's rolling and it's 95 and I can still grow, we ain't going on vacation.
Yeah.
Sorry.
That's the farmer's life.
I'm not walking away from money that I can make.
Right.
We'll figure out another time to go, because I'm growing.
Okay, so I got a couple more questions for you, Mike.
Okay.
So what does your bed prep look like out here? What do you, are you adding compost? What's your fertilizers? Or, what are you bringing fertility here?
Well, first thing, I don't till.
Yeah.
I say I don't till. I don't till after I get my beds made.
Yes.
My first 3 tunnels I had to till because they were just up and down, and I had to make a flat space and get the trash out and everything. So that's the first thing I think that's going to help with my fertility is I don't till. And second thing, I already have really good soil, because like I said in the beginning, for 15 years this stuff did nothing but grow grass, die, decompose.
Good, yeah. Exactly.
So it holds a ton of water. And me not tilling, I think, is going to keep from screwing it up.
Absolutely, it will.
The other part of it is I grow lettuce, which is one of the lowest feeding things that you can grow. So right now I'm not too worried of fertility. I will add compost. Of course, it'll be a very thin layer. And then as far as like bed prep goes, since I don't till, and I've watched a lot of stuff from Singing Frogs Farm and listened to Gabe Brown. I don't know if you know Gabe Brown, Soil Health.
Yeah.
He's always talking about living root in the ground.
Uh-huh.
So what I did, I have the landscape fabric that you saw.
Yeah.
I don't pull my old lettuce up. I cut it off at the ground.
Nice, that's awesome.
And then when I cut it off at the ground, I slide my landscape fabric 2 inches. So then I plant in between the rows of my old lettuce.
Right, I love that. That's
so that
smart.
old lettuce root stays in the ground, and it's probably going to take 6, 7, 8, 9 weeks to die and decompose and turn into organic matter. Well, by that time, 6, 7, 8, 9 weeks,
that's your lettuce crop.
That's my next lettuce crop, and then I move it back.
So you're just shifting back and forth.
I'm going back and forth, and that organic matter is staying there.
That is neat. That's a great tip.
And I have no idea where I found that. Literally, I think I made it up because I didn't want to.
Yeah,
it was the easiest for me to do.
Dude, I love that. That is a really smart technique.
What's that saying called? Least path
of least resistance.
Yes, path of least resistance. That's it.
We're getting real cold out here.
Yeah, our brains aren't working.
Look at this guy. This guy's in shorts right now. He's crazy.
Oh, my legs aren't cold. It's just my fingertips and my nose. But so that's what I'm doing with the lettuce. The other thing I think that really helps is I use a ton of worm castings.
Oh, okay.
I use a ton of worm castings.
Oh, yeah, I love worm casting.
There's a lady here, he'll put the link in the notes. I can never, it's like Texas Worm Ranch or Texas Worm Farm, but here in Dallas that I buy from. They're great worm castings. I even make my own potting mix, which is 3 parts cocoa coral and then 1 part worm castings. And that's all I use.
Neat.
And it works great.
Very cool.
Every salanova plant that you've seen in here has been grown in that medium.
Very neat.
So even after the plant's pulled up, that was worm castings that don't get used are still in the soil. So over time, those worm castings are going to build up.
Oh, big time.
And then when I do like my bigger plants like tomatoes, I'll dig the hole and I'll put a full solo cup of worm castings into my hole.
Nice.
So I do a lot of worm castings. I'll probably get into a little bit of fish.
Hydrolysate or emulsion? Or,
fish emulsions. And I'll try some different stuff with my tomatoes this year since I'm going to have so many.
Yeah.
I can literally do different tests and experiments, see what my soil really needs.
Yeah.
And see if anything yields more. But that's really it. Right now is just going to add a little bit of compost and then continue with my back and forth with my salanova with the root in the ground.
I think that's huge. Leaving those roots is a big deal. Just from what I've learned from some soil health and things like that. Yeah. The way they break down and what, the way that they feed the microbes, and it's fantastic. I hope a lot of people try that technique out. I think it
sucks.
Very cool.
Like, I'm not going to sugarcoat it for you. It sucks to spend an hour cropping out because I can fit almost 2,000 lettuce plants in one tunnel.
Yeah, that's a lot of.
So
you
have a sharp knife is all I can say.
Yeah.
Just and get in a routine and just don't think for about an hour and you'll be fine. Yep. But it sucks. But I think in the long run it's worth it.
Last question here. So what's the plan? What's the next future here? I see you've got some more caterpillar tunnels going up, and what's the future for Dallas Half Acre Farms?
Long term, like 10 years from now. And I've only used this word one other time, but every day that I'm out here, I get more confident in it. I want to build an empire, like a solid empire for Dallas. I want to supply every restaurant in Dallas with salad mix.
That's cool.
And cherry tomatoes and stuff like. I want to be where Steadfast is, and Rose Creek and Ray and Curtis and Green City and Scott up in Canada at Flavorful Farms.
Yeah,
like I want to be known as those guys, and the only way you become known as those guys is when you produce. So, short term, get that tunnel that doesn't have the plastic on it.
Yep.
Get that plastic put on, and then you can see the rebar.
Oh, I see it. Yeah.
Right here.
That's
going up. That's the 5th tunnel that'll go up.
And
then that'll be it for spring and summer. I'll have 5 50-foot tunnels for spring and summer.
Nice.
Then, in the spring, probably spring break, 1st of April, I'll plant back there. at the end of my tunnels, back to the massive wood pile. Back there will be all cover crop. It'll be buckwheat, yellow crimson, clover.
Nice.
Daikon radish.
Oh yeah.
Just to break up the soil a little bit.
Adds a bunch of nitrogen too. Those radishes are full of nitrogen, I learned.
Yep. And then some sort of legume. I haven't figured out which legume yet.
Nice.
And then that'll be all cover crop along with the spot that we're standing on right now. From where the camera is to about 10 feet from where all that wood is another 50-foot tunnel.
Cool.
So I can put another tunnel here.
Wow.
But this soil sucks. Like, it's awful.
Yeah.
I don't know why that's so good and this is so bad. So I'm going to cover crop this probably 2 or 3 years before I put this tunnel on.
I see.
So eventually I'll have 4 100-foot tunnels and at least 2 more 50-foot tunnels. And I think I can cram 1 more 50-foot tunnel.
All in the back.
And the start. Yeah. They're 16 feet.
Yeah.
They're 14-foot tunnels.
Oh, yeah.
So I can cram 1 more.
Yeah.
But it's to maximize every square inch
Yep.
of this place for production.
Very exciting, man. I'll have to maybe I'll have to come back another year or two and see what it looks like, and when you have your empire.
I mean, it sounds like an arrogant thing to say, but
no, I don't think so.
But I know the market. People complain about not having where to sell it. I can't keep it.
Yeah.
I could sell everything that I could ever grow.
It's a good problem. That's
so
what we want.
I get mad at myself because I'm not growing more because I know I can sell it.
Oh wow.
And I think the market's only going to get bigger for it.
Yeah, I totally agree. It would definitely.
And I love doing it. I tell people all the time, if I won the lottery, I'd still come out here tomorrow. But I would have a paper pot transplanter. I would have top of the line. I'd have a 5-row Jane cedar.
Yeah.
I'd have everything. But I'd still come to my farm and work because I freaking love being here, and
You're a farmer.
I love building this up to what it's going to become one day, which is really big, I hope.
It's exciting stuff, man. Well, I'm freezing, dude. we gotta get out of here.
These California people.
yeah, from California, guys. This is a little rough for me.
Stick around till tonight about midnight. It'll be 26.
Yeah.